Hello and welcome to another vlog. Let's take a look at some of the stuff I've been working on recently, starting with this portal. I'm rather pleased with how this came out. Hope my lighting is doing it justice. So this started out life as a piece of a toy that came in a large Kinder Egg sold for Easter. And I think it had something to do with the Avengers. And I got the Easter egg on discount. I was rather hoping to get Thor, my favourite Avenger, but I ended up getting Captain America, my least favourite Avenger. But as I pulled out Captain America and felt a bit disappointed, I spotted this piece and thought, that will make a rather nice demonic portal with a bit of work. So I took a knife and cleaned off the mould lines around the edge, added a little bit of texture where it was a bit too smooth for my liking. Now on the back here there was this weird sort of plastic strut sort of supporting it about here somewhere, and also some injection points. Now the injection points I just covered with a bit of filler, added a bit of texture, and if you know where they are you can see where they are, but I think it came out alright. But what I'm quite pleased with is this here, which is a spine I sculpted myself to cover up the plastic support strut piece. Try and get a good close-up here. These are actually surprisingly easy to sculpt. All I did was put down like a roll of green stuff and then sort of shaped it into a sort of triangular profile. Not sure how well you can see that. There we go. And then I got my sculpting tool and cut the separate little bits of the spine in there. There's a word for those. Vertebrae, that's the word. I separated out the little vertebrae and I took another sculpting tool and sort of pushed into them to get the sort of the right look. I used a Citadel Skeleton Horse's spine for a reference when I was doing this. And yep, a little bit of pushing here and there, and yeah, rather nice spine shape. If anyone's interested, I might do a tutorial on these sometime. We'll see what happens. And I've got a bit of plastic rock off something else, and sculpted a few more spines here and there, and added a couple of skulls, bits of skeleton, and just generally added some bones to the back here to give it a rather demonic hellscape type appearance. And yeah, that's about it for the conversion work, really. Now, when it came to painting, I was rather torn between doing this green that I've got here and sort of demonic orange. So I asked a couple of groups on Facebook, most notably of which the Dungeon Craft group who I joined recently, and very nice community there. And yeah, all different sort of suggestions came up, in including purple, which I was considering for a while. And well, in the end I decided to go with this green because it rather reminded me of the Doom 2016 game. Anyway, very pleased with how this paint job came out. I'm not sure how well it shows up on camera, but in real life, as people say, this looks rather good, and I've achieved a very nice sort of glowing effect around the edge here. Gives it a sort of kind of artificial depth to it, which is kind of the sort of thing you're looking for with a portal, really. Anyway, yes, rather pleased with this. Here's Hlekya for scale. You can see this is quite a big piece, so some seriously large demons could come through that. Anyway, on to the next piece. Next up, here's some stairs pieces. These are just Mega Bloks pieces, actually, that I've cut the kind of Lego stud bits off and painted up. That's about it, really. Quite nice. These fit in rather nicely with the Cyclopean blocks you've seen in previous videos. Similar sort of style to them, and about the same height, so should be able to build some nice bridges and things with these. There's Hlekya. see the sort of thing I've got going on here. Yeah, nothing much to say about them, but yeah, rather pleased how these came out, and should be some rather useful little bits in future dungeons. And here's some braziers I've been working on for an upcoming dungeon. I've actually made 12 of these, but I'm just going to show you 4. And yeah, these have come out rather nicely, if I don't say so myself. These are actually made from beads, and a base, and a bit of green stuff for the flame. Now, so far as the beads go, I'll just put these back here. So the sort of bowl is made from half of one of these. These are hollow beads, and I found sort of jam a screwdriver in there. You can lever these things open into their 2 component halves, and the tripod that the bowls stand on is made of one of these little weird beads. And the flames, after a few experiments, I discovered quite an easy way to sculpt flames. I just sort of built up a little mound of green stuff on here, and cut into it with a sculpting tool, and then used tweezers to sort of tease, or perhaps tweeze, little flame shapes out of it, and that was quite easy to do, and that's come out rather well, I think. Yeah, quite pleased with this. Painted a sort of a bronzy colour for the bowl and tripod. My standard sort of stone look for the base. And the flames, yeah, obviously orange, and brighter orange. In fact, here are the paints I used. Started out with Sanguine base, then a heavy dry brush of Scorn Red, followed by Cador Red base. These are all P3 paints so far. Followed up with Citadel Blood Angels Red, then Citadel Fiery Orange, and then a mixture of Citadel Fiery Orange, Menoth Base White, and Sunburst Yellow for the final highlight on there. MP Bronze and Citadel Hachette Copper were used for the metal. And stone, as I said, done in my standard way, which I've divulged in previous videos. Now, before some of you start heading to the comments section and saying, actually, Mort, I don't think that's how you paint fire, let's take a look at some real fire. Fucking hell, Mort, remember what happened last time? Fine, I'll use some stock footage. Okay, here's some stock pictures of real fire. As you can hopefully see, the fire is brightest along the tongues of the flames and darker in the spaces in between. The bright parts of the flame form in narrow lines, which are represented by the thin raised areas on the sculpt, while the darker parts of the flame are wider rounded areas between the tongues, which are represented by the shallower flat areas on a sculpt. Also, fires tend to be dark at the bottom in the core and brighter towards the middle and the top of the flames, because it's the flames giving off the light and not the material being burned at the bottom. You are of course welcome to disagree with me and paint your fire the other way around, but this is why I do it the way I do it. The braziers should be useful in, of course, all kinds of dungeons, but I think especially if you're doing a sort of ancient temple style theme, like what I've set up here with a few of my pieces. Yeah, overall, rather pleased with these. There, of course, is Flekyar, for scale. Here's that sort of ghost champion model you saw me assemble in my video on the Mortal Realms magazine. I've done a little bit more work to it since. I've swapped the head out for a much nicer looking skull of a mantic skeleton. Done a bit of green stuff work to fill the gaps, and based it up on a textured plastic base. Again, in one of my older videos you will have seen how I do that. I will put a card thing here, I think they go, linking to that. You can see how I do bases like that, if you're interested. You stand over there, and finally, here we go. Here is a new player character miniature I'm doing for Andy. Let's see if we can get some focus in here, because there we go. This character has been inspired by a certain character from a computer game series of books originally written by a Polish author and a recent TV series. I think you can probably tell who it's inspired by. Quite pleased with this so far. Mostly made out of Mordheim mercenary bits and a head made by a company called Anvil Industries. Few other bits. I think the sword there came from a Citadel Empire Knight set, and those oh, focus, there we go. Those bits of armour on the shoulders there are cut down bits of leg armour from Empire Soldiers sprue that Citadel had out in the late 90s. Anyway, I'll talk about this more when I've got it painted. Hopefully I'll be painting this shortly after having done the video today. And I've also recently been assembling the zombie rat men, which will feature in an upcoming dungeon. These are rather predictably made from Ratmen parts, well, Skaven as they call them, parts from Games Workshop, and some older Citadel zombie parts as well, sort of thrown in there. That blade there is from an Advanced Hero Quest Skaven, and oh yeah, I used heads from Plague Monks mostly, because they got nice sort of rotting details to them. Where's that one with the skull? Oh yeah, look at him. Sort of whole face rotted away on that side, and more intact face on this side. Rather pleased with how these have come out so far, and I'll show you more of these, of course, when I finish painting them. So yeah, that's about it for this vlog. Hopefully sometime soon I'll be showing you all of these and more finished and painted. If you liked this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you're subscribed to my channel, like this video. Until next time, I need a goodbye catchphrase.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Come quickly.